Well, as we get going with Consulate, it is going to be, first of all, an exciting time to see what Myth is able to do again. Like, I have all faith in Project Zero. They just met Panahoné, which of course are ranked #1 if you remove Geeky from these standings, considering they cannot qualify to the T2 finals. So, that being said, like, Panahoné, really good opponent. They just didn't have the best of group stages. Myth also didn't have the best of group stages, but then they also kind of slipped and fell in their actual playoffs match. So I am having full eyes on Myth Esports here to see what they have done, what they can do different to make sure that they are the ones coming out victorious here.
They've definitely sharpened things up somewhat, right, when it comes to Consul on the side of Myth, because again, it wasn't looking ideal for them. They've played it 6 times, they've lost it 5 times. So that's not the most ideal place to really be starting from. However, we consider that play day 1 of the group stage where they had to go against Diavole. It did actually get to that overtime. It was an 8-6 win in the end to Diavole. So I think Myth, again, if they dig deep, they can sometimes have the stamina, but remember, they played that group stage with a sub. Things were a little bit fast and loose. Diavole themselves were saying we're not taking it seriously, and again, Diavole had some really dodgy attacks. So how much do you take that information with a pinch of salt right now going into this? I still think that statistically, when we look at all that data, we look at all that evidence, this still should be Project Zero's, to be honest, happen. I think for Myth, they just need to play a very solid defense. They need to communicate well. And again, just play around these kind of little individual duo plays a bit more effectively to shut down some of that aggression that is going to come out of these Project Zero players.
I fully agree with you. And it is just hard to see how things are going to be going here, because again, like I said, like Project Zero, they played incredibly well during their group stages. They just had the unfortunate fact that they were meeting, first of all, a team out of the group of death, Group B. Second of all, Panahoné, which is probably like the second worst team to go up against next to Geeky. And keeping that in mind, you're then, okay, well, what next? Because, they lost it there, and they were kicked down towards that lower bracket, meaning that they cannot afford to lose any more games. But we'll see how things will go, as we are getting underway with our first round of Consulate. A pick by Project Zero will mean that they are starting off on the attack. And if they can instantly pick up some good rounds here, let's say, let's say 3 rounds, they will be going into that second half quite comfortably.
Reloading. 5 seconds to go.
I think this is where Myth need to be careful, because again, Project Zero going into this, they're not going to be reinventing the wheel, right? They're not going to be doing anything so inventive and creative that it's going to take Myth by surprise. They're probably going to go pretty default like we've seen from them so far. They're just going to be very clean cut about that default approach that they're actually going to take. From the get-go, a lot of utility being used for this round. Capitao, the Retro drones in the pocket of Ruby as well. It's going to give them so much to work with. Skeptic should get this wall open relatively quickly. I don't know if anyone's going to try and claw trick it. Oh, there we are. Bit of EMP action, that's going to get the job done, I would imagine. That's pressure already going into meeting. Remember, yes, you could open these walls and then hightail it out of there 9 times out of 10. Most teams do that, but it's this idea of the phantom pressure that you create, or the rest of you start to get the little moments of control elsewhere. Again, in this instance, I imagine that the RV's office will be taken. Utility being cleared on that staircase as well. When am I aware of it? Ooh, spray and pray. Nearly deals with Groovy. Look how weak he is now, Hap.
That's not ideal. Ruby, of course, the top player on the team as well throughout the tournament so far. Still has the RC Retiro, still has a gun, he's still up and swinging, so it doesn't mean the end of anything. And the last RC coming out, a minute 30 left, a gunfight taking place on the breach itself, with Flexi going quite low himself. It's scrappy so far, but as the incendiary bolts come out, the nitro does too. Erkari will burn to death, doesn't seem to be aware that he's inside. A trade comes through, but not for long. Quick shuts him down. It's Dynamite, the top player on the side of Myth. Finds one for his efforts, but nothing more than that. And with fire popping in the SodaStream hallway, the flashbangs are starting to roll back through. Eli take a small amount of damage as well, as he's just trying his utmost best to stay up, to keep fighting, and to try and challenge Cafeteria. That is such an unfortunate timing to run ADS, and the plant now going down with Zach trying to chase the top of Spiral. One just jumped out. We'll find a kill into Groovy. The confirm is there, but as he's sprinting into the next person, he finds a second head. Plant is done. Verticality is created. It's going to be making it difficult to go for the long arm here. They're hearing it, but they're not seeing it. They need to be quicker as he goes off, and Flexi is eventually still there for the confirm and will ensure the round victory for the side of Project Zero. A great start to the match with a not so great start to the actual round.
It's had an attempt from Zachariah as well to actually clutch that out. And actually, again, in those moments, it's not the fact that Zachariah was playing that long at all, it's just the fact that Project Zero, they had those bodies, they had the ability to just deal with that final remaining player of Myth. A bit, not so much of a steamroll, I would say, but like again, for Project Zero, it's just them going through those motions, those classic motions, getting the control they need. Myth kind of dropping the bar a little bit, Hap.
Yeah, for sure. And a great opener for Project Zero. I said it. Looking for, well, let's say 3 rounds to get themselves in comfortably. And Myth, of course, knowing they are the dark horse of this matchup, will be looking to set themselves up with as much success as they can, but also provide themselves with the opportunity to you know, they also want to go on. They also want to be picking up these points, even though I think realistically they don't now. They have no opportunity of making it into the top 4, making it to the T2 Grand Finals. It's still better to end your year with some W at least, rather than going out early here too.
I'm reloading.
I want to see more big things from Zachariah during this game, during this series, regardless of how it goes. It's a nice debut into this playoffs. Again, Myth, yes, they've been up against the wall, but it's nice to see this fresher blood come through. Have a good showing of it, regardless of what the results actually end up being.
Reloading.
Zero, I'd argue if anything, the pressure is more on them right now, right? The T1 experience, the veteran players, a roster that certainly can cook up a feast in the next 6 months or so. Have to put their money where their mouth is and show everyone that everyone's hopes for this roster are not going to be disappointed in the end. Razziang Wombo combo already. Flexi bringing the pressure here. Skeptic pushes forward with that shield. Eli has gone down. C4 to the face of Flexi though. Massive work here. Zachariah deals with Skeptic as well. That's given Myth a huge bit of breathing space. If they can try and get Eli up, that'll put them in a very good position right now to deny this collapse, Hap.
For sure it will. A 2-minute advantage, although 2 on very critical health. But doable. As the smoke canisters pop through, Zachariah comes around the corner. Ruby trades. Takes small amount of damage thanks to the smoke canister. As he's hugging the bathroom wall, Quick is finding himself inside. The grenades and the C4s are starting to come through. Eventually it's a bullet that will find his head. And Groovy, the last man standing, now will find one, not the second, as the score gets equalized.
Great little round coming out from Myth, again, considering how much utility Project Zero are actually bringing there. You know, they had the Glaz, they had the in combo, and I was like, oof, this is a little bit spicy. We've seen how these go. But Myth were able to hold on to it. Able to get those shutdowns going. Nice little cheeky C4 to the face as well. Puts them in a really good position to fight from. Again, if you've got those bodies, it's not just, okay, I can take this gunfight. Yes, if I win it, amazing. If I don't, someone should trade pretty quickly. Great work from Myth. Heading now to his basement. Again, it's not going to be anything spectacular or new from either side. It's just really going to come down to those fundamentals. How you're playing around each other, how you're communicating, more importantly, with one another, how reactive you're going to be to the information that's fed to you. Speaking of info, Project Zero bringing out double global, it appears. That's going to be a bit of a nuisance to deal with on the side of Myth. Wondering if they're actually going to go for any form of extension, Hap.
No, you don't.
The big question,
Changing mag.
is that roam game going to
Activating camera.
come into play? Or is it just a formality where they'll just fall back as soon as a bit of pressure comes in? For now, there's a clear extension. Eli, all the way in the top 4, looking to hunt a player as they repel by his window. For now, though, there's no real pressure. It's just the hatches opening up. Nothing really to worry about. On the side of, well, Project Zero say, until that nitro cell pops off right over the top of the breach. And we'll find a crucial operator. Thermite off the board. Diffuser down on the ground as well. Will have to be recovered. That means Flexi will now have to use Selmas, or Quick will have to use X-Kairos to open up that main breach, if that is still a priority. Is Dynamite running around the corner? The drop through the hatch already came in. Are they aware of this? As Dynamite is definitely looking to go for a bit of a chase. As Quick will find a kill, the drop comes in afterwards. Flexi will find another, and Project Zero somehow turn this around either way. With the flashbangs happening, finally Dynamite catches up to one of them. But as a trade comes in over the top, it is a minute 40 left. And a man advantage for the side. 2-man advantage for the side of Project Zero. All they need to do is figure out where Tridley is. And the phone call will at least help them with that, as the kill comes in into Uber. He has full top floor control as he rotates down yellow. Spotted on a drone. Stuck in this one doorway. The diffuser not in pocket as flashbangs come in, will force him to fall back. Pre-fires as well. The diffuser is still down outside. Quick will have to expend his... Oh, there we go! The impact will find him! And Quick, you have to just breach the wall or have to chase the kill. Because the diffuser is down. And you going outside gives him the opportunity to relocate himself. Honestly, I would have opened up the wall at this point. I'm not a player in this situation. The verticality is there. He's watching the door. Tridley could go for a huge clutch. He's in a 1v3 situation. Manages to get himself the plant, but 1 HP on Quick. As the drop comes in, the pre-fires are there. Nothing is connecting. Eventually it does. And what a clutch from the side of Tridley. Played it calm, played it collected. They knew where he was, but the wall wasn't opened up due to that nitro cell that opened up the round, and Project Zero giving away a round here to the side of Myth.
I feel like I could describe that as stinky, actually, from Project Zero, because again, it's this idea that Kit is down. Again, we've seen this amazing back and forth. Player advantage happens. You're in a 3 versus 1, right? Tridley, in those moments, should be panicking. Because, okay, Kit's down outside, but Tridley doesn't know that. Tridley doesn't know that. Tridley's just like, okay, I need to just deny the plan. I need to apply this pressure. If I see a pixel, I'm just going to have to kill them. Tridley played that perfectly, played that beautifully, and was then eventually gifted just so much to work with, because, you know, Project Zero in that moment, they're kind of there like, okay, we don't actually have Kit. We have to go outside. Especially when it's
Yeah,
one
but-
versus one, you're having to hightail it outside as the Hibana, and you're just like, for goodness sake, like...
You had 16x Skyrolls.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
You could have opened up the wall instead of having to run through yellow and then... Like, you could have made him guess where you were coming back in from, either yellow or the breach. But instead, it was left to just yellow. You had
What if it is
16x
careful?
Skyrolls, you could have breached it.
This is it, no. Project Zero need to be careful because it's little things like that costing them rounds that are going to be a little bit... It's one of those things where it's like, it's not even because of like a massive misplay, right? Everyone's in the position they need to be. It just so happens that the diffuser has gone down outside, so they're like, oh, one of us has to go get it, but that call wasn't really coming through like quick enough. Like, okay, one of us just needs to go get it, rotate. They had enough time to do that as well. They had enough time for
Defuse a bomb.
that kind of rotation outside while the rest of them kind of tried to not peek into Ridley. But I guess when you have the player advantage like that, you think, okay, we've got it in the bag, we can be a bit more aggro, a bit more confident. And if anything, it's massive hats off to Tridley in those moments for putting on a masterclass there.
I mean, you cannot take it away from Tridley. He did everything he needed to do there. If you say otherwise, then you're a bit silly. But it's also like the mistakes were made, which allowed that clutch to happen, of course. And those do need to be addressed at some point. Not now, but down the line. As we're off to round number 4, a minute in already, as we see the C4 coming in. It's going to be not even through the win, though. So, no real worry. Tridley already downed, however. Man of the moment before. Eli taking tons of damage as well as he's trying to retreat. And Project Zero, again, they start off perfectly in this round. As they find themselves with a double entry, they just need to make sure that they are cleaning it up now to not have any of those shenanigans we've had in that last round.
Lovely stuff. Newport being dealt with. Eli trying to even things out just a little bit. So Toros come through just to try and clear the way. And I respect this from Myth. Not being too passive. Being willing and ready to contest things. Knowing, yeah, we know we like our chances. Quick. Excellent work there around the corner. Frees up a lot of breathing space around reception now. Kari and Zachariah a little bit on the back foot now. Once again, still contesting it. Maybe this is the point where they're like, okay, we can try and waste a bit of time, but most likely we are going to have to start thinking about covering these angles for that collapse. Ruby dealing with Akari as well. Not ideal for Zachariah. Swift cleanup there from Project Zero. Already having to do too much in terms of util. Yes, a few Retoros, Candelas thrown out here, there, and everywhere, but mostly just winning their ones and getting that breathing space to secure that round.
I have set their target for 3 attacking rounds, Grace, because you know, I get to do that, right? I can just say like, this is your target. That's how it goes. Teams will have to obey, otherwise they go to prison. That is the harsh reality of competitive play for those of you watching at home. They could have been at 3 already. It could have been 3-1 if it wasn't for Tridley. Project Zero is definitely having themselves a wonderful time here in Consulate. And they are looking to end this half quite comfortably. Now, that being said, Myth, of course, having those 2 rounds on the board is already giving them a great buffer. And there's always 2 sides to a game of Siege. Who knows? Maybe Myth, their attacks have been cleaned up massively, because that was my biggest critique in the group. It was too one-dimensional, it took too long. And there was a lack of adaptation from time to time. If they have cleaned up on any of those aspects, we could just have a completely different Myth on our hands for the remainder of the game.
What are you thinking that Myth themselves going into this consulate though? They knew not to expect too much. They knew just to play solidly. Again, just get a good official going for themselves.
down onto
It's
Zach.
been a bit of a unfortunate season for them so far. And ooh! Zachariah, nade to the face. Yupel finishing him off, but Groovy has gone down to Akari. So 4 versus 4, Hap. 1 minute gone. Blood being spilt already. Both teams really willing to contest each other in these gunfights still.
Oh. There's a Goyo there. Do they know? A little bit of a distraction might need to come through. The track is there. There's the headshot as well. Dynamite going for the jump out. Will instantly be punished though. They were ready for it. They knew what was happening as they wanted to go for a very quick push. The Nitrocell will find quick. A Septic was forced back out due to the smoke canisters. We'll call for a bit of a reimagination of this round now for the side of Project Zero. As the execute kind of fell apart, unaware of the fact that Goyo was down below. Otherwise, Uper would have gone for that swing with the Vendetta as soon as he had an ID. And as the incendiary bolts come in to block some rotation as area denial, it is Stridley with 2 great picks to put Myth another round on the board and give them the lead in this match.
Great work there. Again, like again, how back and forth this has been so far. It's not even like Project Zero doing anything rapidly, you know, disturbingly bad either. It's just Myth being able to really hold on to the round by winning some of these gunfights and communicating well with each other. And again, I think it's a bit of a shame really that they weren't able to kind of play with this full roster during the group stage. Maybe get a bit more of a favourable seeding going into the playoffs themselves as well. And also, yeah, having to play against Secret Academy, who have something to prove after the, you know, fell at the hurdle in the Rumble. Especially this kind of new form of Secret Academy, where they're really locked in. Not getting loud in the all chat, they're just focusing on playing their game. I think Draz has hit them a few times with birch twigs, to be honest, at this point.
Very specifically birch.
Specifically birch.
Is there a reason why it's specifically birch?
I just can't imagine Draz hitting anyone with any other kind of stick, to be honest.
Okay. I don't know what a personality like what would like my choice of would be. Feels like we're making wands or something. Okay. A solid oak tree.
Solid.
Very nice.
Bit of oak.
Good to know.
What's options for Project Zero right now? Again, double hard breach. You need to be careful this time. Remember, last round, they left the kit kind of in no man's land, and that wasn't the most ideal of situations, so Skeptic needs to keep himself alive. And if he does fall, people need to be gathering that kit. It does seem like they're very cautious about trying to go for this default breach, this default opener. Just because they are concerned about a C4 being lobbed that way over the top by Tridley. Safety first approach from Project Zero. It's going to cost them in terms of time, but it's a nice adjustment. It's a nice adaptation. Ooh, spotting them out. Just around the corner, missing the shot though.
Changing mag.
Unfortunate, but for Zachariah, gonna be pretty stoked about that. Rustled a few jimmies, and again, more time at being wasted. Nearly half the round has been ticking out, and yes, Groovy is upstairs in lounge, starting to apply that dirty pressure. Quick alongside him, and again, double hard breach. It does mean you've got options, Hap.
Definitely is options.
Oh, hard breach, actually.
Yeah. No hard breach gadgets would have been fun though. Go quadruple to open things up. Nitrocell being tossed in. The first one did not find anything. Flexi, however, will find the kill onto Eli. That is a second Nitrocell now off the board. That will not be able to harm anybody. Leaving the last in the pockets of Urkari, who could try and hit big. Impact failing. Second one failing as well. The breach has come through, and that means there's now an opening towards the site as well. Fire is blocking some lines aside, but it's all part and course of the plan. As long as that stays up, it will be coming back to haunt you later on. Now, Groovy has done a hell of a job to get himself all the verticality necessary to protect the planter for getting it down. Quick is going to be putting up pressure through the back as the flashbangs will come through. So are the smoke canisters as Zachariah will go down. No, Dynamite goes down after Zachariah finds Septic. And with 30 seconds left, the attention is now towards the backside of the defense. But a beautiful shot from Akari might elevate that just slightly. The open mirror window makes things a bit awkward here as Akari finds yet another. And suddenly we're in a 2-on-3 position with the plant going down, and successfully so. Now they need to evac, but the Nitro Cell pops up and Zach finds one more. And Myth clutched around and get themselves to a 2-4 half. Which is going to be very pleasant from them, considering the fact that they, well, let's be honest, they should have been 3-3 right now.
Phenomenal round from Akari, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts round from Akari. Akari did absolute bits there to ultimately win them that round. Not only hitting some really nice shots in that final C4, like, sometimes you just need a player going large like that and it'll get the job done. You're at that player disadvantage. If you've got one player that can just dodge, duck, weave, dive, and even things out for you, it's a lot smoother sailing. 4-2 split for Myth. It's not that bad going, to be honest. It's not that bad at all. And again, yes, they're going onto the attacking side, and Project Zero, they themselves have a really lovely consulate defense. Yes, it's default, but it's been working really well for them. Banning out the Ying and the Grim, so again, removing some utility from the hands of Myth that are going to allow them to create a lot of pressure. And a lot of contention back against some players that might start getting a little bit freaky with it. Again, the ability from Myth to be able to shut down even players like Upor, right? Upor,
Attackers need to locate.
very good player in his own right, but Myth were just beating him down before he could do those standout classic Upor plays that we're used to seeing. Again, Skeptic on
Camera ready to activate.
a little bit of a back foot himself. Definitely, again, Wolf kind of falling into that support role, of course, but he's had a nice season so far in South Breach. We highlighted it at the top, at the start of the series, rather. Going on to the Chanka now.
5 seconds left before.
Getting a lot of utility just to slow things down. We saw them play this beautifully the other day.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Really nice hole that they can create using that util. And again, it's not about doing anything too outside the ballpark, but the buggy's a curious one for me.
Oh, it's nice to have the verticality from below when you get the plant down. I don't know, I'm just trying to clutch it to the structure.
But it's top floor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you get the plant, you use the boogies, open up the entire floor, and you can hold from below. I don't know. Might get a quick plant actually. As the eye up is definitely there on the window. The diffuser already there. We see some of the utility in position. In the meantime, Tritley is already sneaking up the yellow stairs. And Eli opening up on the connector part, waiting for the countdown. Fire ready to be sent in. There's actually no one near the site, but the one person on connector. And as the fire comes in, will definitely give away a little bit of the game. So does the smokes as the plant is being attempted, but they're Kari forced out due to smoke canisters himself. No, actually, I don't know what it is. It might be the Shumika. As Tritley swaps to the shotgun, is not going to be able to connect it. Took a little bit too long. Flexi will find Quick, will at least trade it back slightly in favor of Myth, even though it was a team kill. But the angle has been taken out of the attack. And now we reconsolidate. As it's a 4-on-4 light second reinforcement to come in. And I know before the game started you said that Septic hasn't really had the best of tournaments before, hasn't actually had a good tournament before. Sorry. But he's not been doing as well this map so far. Not able to find a connection as of yet. Let's send the boogie to destroy the shield. It would be very funny. Nope. Just getting out.
Potentially, this is a key factor. I spoke about this at the start of the series. Myth, when it comes to, okay, you've lost that backstab now, Tritley's gone, But what is the shot call that comes through? And are you moving? Are you moving in time? Are you all getting in the right position as that shot call's coming through? Keep securing this round, going for plan B. Right now, there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of running around, there's a lot of looking a little bit lost in the map, to be honest, Hap. And that worries me slightly.
See what Boogie can do.
Here comes the utility, 20 seconds. Flashbang out, smoke canister wall, at least block soda. Smith looking to make a move, with Project Zero have this somewhat under control. The plant attempted by Arcari, not for long. Shut down on the get-go. The fire there is going to stop Eli from truly moving through, and it's just a slaughter in his final seconds. And Project Zero, quite comfortably, apart from their very first push attempt, winning this round and edging closer towards an equal scoreline.
Techie T coming out. Skeptic has disconnected. Just going to take a brief pause for a second as he feeds the hamster, powering his computer another tiny carrot.
Don't talk about food.
3-4 now. Just one more round, they can equalise. And again, for Myth, it's already this idea of, okay, if something's not going to plan, we need the shot call to come through, and then we need everyone to listen and just go for it. And it did feel like there's a bit of cluster, a bit of fluster happening there. People running back and forth, not really sure where they needed to be. Sometimes you just need that moment of pause. Don't have to push forward, don't have to push deep. Just stay where you are. Work out what you've got, work out what tools you have at your arsenal. Cook a little plan from there.
Stop talking about food. I'm hungry. Okay, Myth. I mean, the attack is always going to be harder. There's no doubt about that. And Project Zero, they could have been 3-3 at the first half. Instead, they found themselves on the back foot slightly. But they respond with an instant, very well done defense. Dealing with the pressure as it comes. And it looks super relaxed. So can they keep that up for the remainder of these rounds? Cafeteria's up next. Septic has rejoined. This will most likely get us to get back into it to find out what's next on South Breach. We should do one of those. Like, next time on South Breach.
Next time on R6 South Breach. Yeah, but potentially. I do think, again, like, there's a lot to be said in terms of how well Myth have been playing Consulate lately, despite those previous results that they have been having. Because, yes, okay, just to reiterate the point, they've played it 6 times, they've lost it 5 times. It's not the best of maps for them. But then recently, when it comes to South Breach, they've been able to turn around and kind of be like, okay, well, again, that match against Evole, I believe it was, it went all the way to overtime. We were able to get things started. We were able to get the ball rolling there. It's just actually securing that map we didn't have the best of times. And yes, of course, there's an argument to be made that both teams weren't taking it seriously at that point, but it's an added little bit of focus up that needs to come through now. And that's why I think they are doing a good job against Project Zero. Initially, it's just that they have to keep hold of things on these attacks, and the main threat factor to them right now, when it comes to maybe Myth losing this map, is the fact that, okay, shot calls need to come through sharply. Project Zero, it's a good map for them. We can't be giving them any inches. Can't be giving them any space.
I'm reloading.
Need to make sure we're pressuring them. We need to make sure that if we do start losing bodies, and it's important bodies when it comes to, again, if you have that one player that's like trying to pull off a little backstab and he falls, you need to have that moment where you go, pause.
5 seconds left.
Okay, here's plan B.
What is it
Here's what
saying?
we're gonna do.
What is it saying in English? Like, give them an inch to take a mile, or is it?
Yeah. Give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Exactly.
Because in Dutch it would be, you give them a finger and they take a hand.
Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. It's the
You know,
same
I'm
thing,
just-
right?
It's, no, yeah, no. It's just I was just wondering if that was the translation because not being a native speaker and all, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny because I always used to translate them into the Dutch version, but then bring them back to English. So like a taste of your own medicine, a cookie of your own dough. I think is way more fun than a taste of your own medicine. That aside, though, can Project Zero keep up these defenses? It's their own map pick. They'll be more than eager to win it, but they are not going to be happy if they have to go through OT to do it. Myth is still a way out, still 2 rounds out from actually reaching an opportunity of going to OT in the first place. But those 2 rounds can quickly happen if a small mistake creeps in here and a small mistake creeps in there. And as the middle floor is now slowly being taken control of by Myth, spots are starting to come through and Project Zero will have to relocate themselves.
Eli, starting to apply pressure from above. Need to be careful. That's why having the added bonus of those buggies is always lovely. You can kind of fall back a bit and let Zachariah descend that out. Give you a little bit of safety net while those floorboards get ripped open. C4 comes out. Ooh, Zachariah.
I've been by the
Perhaps he's been
C4.
downed. Might be.
Tridley.
Ironic.
Very much so, as Tridley sends off some of the SMG rounds, is coming back now to try and provide a little bit of cover. Septic finds himself picked up by Arcari as the breach already opened up. He was a little bit too late to move. Luckily, Flexy's there, and that's the fuser dropped outside of the wall. That's most important. We'll force a rotation to come through. With 50 seconds left, there's not a lot of time to actually do so. For the side of Myth. As they get on their drones, there's no Logibomb available. Not that it matters because Quick finds him, instantly rotates back up top. Make sure that he stays an issue that way, but will also be falling back as he swaps his shell. Just playing from the side. This gives him the opportunity that if a plant goes down, Grace, he can instantly swap back up to the top floor, have that top floor control, and try and play it from there. It's just an assurance that they have. As the incendiary bolt will come through, will force out that player of Myth into yellow. Uber in the meantime though will find Eli, and it's just up to Zachariah now. And with the time ticking down, it feels like we're equalizing our scoreline here. With Project Zero with another very comfortable defense.
And another comfortable defense, simply down to the fact that it's an uncomfortable attack from Myth again. Struggling with these adjustments as those bodies start to drop. 4-4. Myth haven't called a timeout just yet. Perhaps if Project Zero start to take the lead a bit more. Maybe after this round, for example, if Project Zero win it, Myth might call that and be like, okay, we need to actually pull this up.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Piano Expo room, and you're bringing out the Spec IO. The stuff I love to see. Again, there's so much self-destructibility when you're using that kind of gadgetry. Not only can you, yes, find out where those drones may be lying, those flank drones, where those pushes may be coming from. As a result of that, you can also deny for the plant. You play around the kind of layout of the map a bit more effectively as well. This require you keeping hold of that top floor. Again, when we think about how much kit investment is going on here on the side of Project Zero, have no doubt that they'll have a nice tasty setup here. Keepers in the pocket of Quick. Used to give little pockets to hide behind and get a bit more aggro with. Especially if you want to contest people pushing from the back, but let's see what Myth decide to do, Hab.
It is the big question. We can theorize all we want, but if they decide to just go for a plan B we haven't even discussed, then it's all going down the drain. Dynamite wanting to enter in from garage. Using his drone to find out. Quickly taking care of the default cam. Just to deny the information, and of course taking care of a drone, of a camera says enough as well. They'll know that someone has been there. They just don't know if you're still there. Strictly hunting down Skeptic. Again, you have to find a connection with the map in the map itself. He's playing that crucial operator, and we've seen rounds won and lost by Solis by using that kit. And okay, yeah, well, Septic might be on 0-5 now, but if he's suddenly in a 1v3 and there's a lot of verticality that they can work with, and suddenly that Spec.io is round winning, you'll be punching yourself that you didn't isolate that player first.
We will. Look around waiting patiently. You know, Myth taking the cautious approach here. Need to be mindful that half the round gone. Time is of the essence. You know vaguely where Flexi is. Can Eli dislodge him? Backup might come in through Akari, rotating around to Visa. Bit of pinch pressure. Dislodge this one player. Again, it's a massive time waste happening. Two players distracted. Just trying to deal with him. And he can just hightail it out of there. He can run away now. Calling out, okay, there's a blitz there. At least one other guy around the corner. That's two of them accounted for. Got to work out where the other three may be lurking.
Here comes the frags. There's Stritley with a shotgun shell, but Ruby will strike back. Akari, though, is the one that's carrying that diffuser, and he's finding himself in deep. Nitro Cell will blow up. We'll find Dynamite, but that's not the diffuser carrier. And now in a 3-on-3 position, the verticality still under control for the side of Project Zero. Squick is trying to lock them out. It's Gruby with yet another kill. 3 for this round. As he's receiving pressure from that blitz. We'll find it. A quad. Is it going to go for the ace? No. Uber denies it. But another round going towards Project Zero. And now they're finding themselves one away from a map point as Myth is yet to find success on their attacks.
No timeout being called either by Myth. That's a little bit dodgy. You don't want to see that happen really at the match point. Again, you know, you touched on it perfectly. It's the thing we've been saying this entire time, right? When it comes to these attacks, it's like, okay, are Myth going to be able to have those shot calls and, you know, things that are coming through when things start going pear-shaped? And if the calls do come through and people are reacting to them, again, we saw this attempt at a pinch of one player. But by the time you've rotated, you've dilly-dallied so much, they've kind of hightailed it out of there. And you've wasted a lot of time going for that rotation. And then you start to get a little bit 1D when you are funneling in. And that info's already been called to the rest of Project Zero.
Swapping mags!
Well. I mean, it isn't map point yet, right? So there is still the opportunity to take your time out afterwards. But I do agree, Grace, we've seen a serious lack of timeouts throughout the entire tournament. It's a resource, why not use it? Again, we're also not in the comm, so not 100% judge if it's the right time to take one. As round number 10 gets in the way. Project Zero have taken the lead finally once more. Really wanted to, of course, do that earlier in round number 5, but denied from doing so. Tritley, huge clutch from him. And looking at the scoreboard, we can only say that Ruby has been having a hell of a game. Flexi as well, 10 on 5. Smith, everybody's just carrying, everybody's just doing their way. Doing their thing, getting their wants. There's no real reason to be panicked there yet. It's just that Ruby and Flexi are really stepping up to the punch.
And again, we expect that from Gruby.
Loading new mags!
Certainly so. Throughout this entire tournament, even with Project Zero at times being on that back foot, he's been the highest rated player on the side of Project Zero. the most flashy of statistics, but at least a 70% cost before even going into this. 1.39 KDR. Ooh, you pulled the run out. There's that flair. There's that pizzazz that we're used to seeing from that player in particular. Eli attempting to use this glass utility to try and find something. Flexi does get tagged up a little bit, but he's aware of the pressure around every single corner, and this is the awkward point when it comes to the rework that's happening on Consulate. There's so many nooks and crannies. You need a little bit of cover. You need a little bit of a safety net that often comes in a shield, but Akari able to push as effectively with you. You're left squishy. You're left alone. Quick dealing with Tridley as well. 2 versus 5 now. Zachariah and Akari desperately have to try and scrap their way out of this one. Project Zero almost chasing them away.
Let's just get down. It's like, off this floor, you can have everything but this top floor under control. As the destructive ingredient is being detonated just to provide themselves with a bit of cover to not be flanked from the rear right away. The big issue is, though, it's a 2-on-5. And there's 30 seconds left. There's too much to handle here. And as Akari unshields, he's wanting to find himself a kill. Will find one, but Groovy jumps out to instantly trade it back. Now, Zachariah, as they find Groovy with a beautiful shot, is in a 1v3. Looking to see if anything gets gifted. The flashbangs wall blind quick, but he's still out there slowing everything down, and with 9 seconds, there's almost no way that goes south. Project Zero! They get themselves the map point. Is this the moment we see a tactical timeout? A tacky T from Myth.
We'll see. Doesn't seem like it's so far. Again, maybe it's one of those things that are like, okay, maybe we lose that GG to go next, but again, a little bit of missed timing really cost them that last round. Things getting a little bit one-dimensional, unfortunately. Again, okay, if you're going 1D, but you need the right kit to do it. Yes, they lost the Blackbeard early, but you still had the Monty. That Glass just had to wait for a little bit of added pressure.
Attackers
Come
need
in
to
from that
locate and
Monty.
defuse as many bombs.
Unfortunate, really.
Device activated.
Chat getting a little bit heated now. Ball's coming out a little bit on both sides. Now is not the time for giving the big one in the old chat. Lock in, please, gents.
Honestly impressed with how they can figure out how to type and do their setups at the meantime. It is impressive, if anything. We're also getting grammar lessons, it seems. I know. Zero for this first map to fall their way. They are looking quite relaxed so far. No real big pressure coming in towards the site. Like every round they've won with 3 or 4 people left on their defense still. And as Akari steps in, he sees that all has been electrified, meaning that they need to get rid of Skeptic. He could be actively tricking out there. With the first 30 seconds passing, just gunfights taking place in and outside the building. An Nitrocell still detonated, won't find anything, but does make Uber's position a little bit less safe.
And he does. Pantheon removed. I'm just going to deny a flank and catching you by surprise in that mid to late round. And for Myth, just push your way across the top. Making quick work of it. Give themselves a lot of options as well. Get that Verti established. And also do it across the 2 floors if you get the right angle. They're opening themselves up a lot of options here. It's Kairos working from the back. Might even have Akari open up the garage as well. With more options comes more opportunity. Again, you need those calls to come through once you see those options ahead of you, once you've done what you need to do. Work out what kind of collapse you're going to go for, what's going to be most effective here. No bodies have dropped, and I think for Myth, that's making them a little bit hesitant here. Okay, maybe we want to get a little pick under our belt first. And make this a bit more lighter for us.
.45. Counting down, a player right behind the pillar seems to be the first target, but has those keybers in pocket. It's Flexi. He's just trying to stay in there, he's trying to keep on digging deep. If only he had a Capitão now. Would have been able to just send the fire down range, but Flexi rotating out will be headed towards Spiral, looking to maybe even go upstairs. And Zachariah will find the very first kill. The trades keep not coming, actually. It's the second one from the Visa stairs. And Silly Myth have themselves a really good opportunity. A 2-man advantage to work with. Make that 3. There's a Skeptic and Groovy left as the drops on the side are starting to come through, and with 8 seconds left they need to start planting, but that doesn't seem to be happening as of yet. Pre-fire's coming through, won't quite connect. Where is Arkari with the diffuser? Finds one, finds two, team kill comes in. One from the back. Is Groovy going to be able to pick that one up as he swaps to the shotgun? Yes, he will. 45 seconds counting now. In the post plant. Scrooby is about to hit the 20 mark. Have they exited the building? That is the big question. One coming in from the hallway. Dynamite will strike true, and Myth have themselves their first attacking round on the board.
About time, but is it too little too late? One more round needed to get us to that overtime, and again, it's really coming down to the line on both sides. Much better from Myth as well. Again, just really taking their time with it. Again, most importantly, giving themselves so many options to work with, not just tunnel visioning into one approach. And again, we talked about how, you know, sometimes these shot calls aren't as effective on their side, but again, giving yourself multiple options like that means that, okay, we can see a little bit calmer what we're looking at. We're not hyper focusing on just one approach.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
We're just doing a really good job of, like, again, getting those picks under their belt, especially in those final moments, giving themselves the right kind of cover to get that plant down. Hopefully that's put a little bit of confidence back into them. Zero choosing to go back to the basement.
Deploying razor wire.
Skeptic on the cardiac sensor. Nice early gain of information, it looks like, that Project Zero want to bring. They got the black eyes combined with that pulse cardiac sensor. So again, if they get that info, how quickly will they react to it?
Wall.
And will that reaction be accurate, full of flair and pizzazz? Or will we see Myth being able to secure themselves an entry pick, combating any aggression that may come out from Project Zero now?
If kind of have to. Backs against the wall for this first map. Of course, it is Project Zero's map, so the fact that we're 6-5 currently is already showing that there's some fight in them. But we need to make sure that they can push it to overtime here and now as well, as slight tack towards Stridley. Seems like a single bullet might have bounced back towards him. We also have to acknowledge the fact that Project Zero is currently in heavy depth with Groovy. 19 on 7, and is on a 3 KD for this map, nearing a 2 KPR. As the drones confirm, okay, this side of the map is clear. We can start pushing over towards the offices. Projector room seemingly clear as well. The black guy is being destroyed. No C4 to be tossed in from underneath. With a minute 45 left. And the verticality, not verticality, but the top floor being taken currently. Myth have a clear mission ahead of them. But do they have enough time to reach it? Because as soon as they take control of the top floor, they need to start working on that first floor. And it seems like there is a pulse down below, guiding the Nitrocell 3 Musketeers.
Maybe you gotta be careful about so much destruction on both sides. Energy coming through. You're getting tagged up just a little bit. Gonna hightail it out there, Scrooby falls. Flexi gets that trade instantaneously though, and that's a really important key factor there. The body drops, but you're there to keep on top of things. Again, yes, they've pulled back a bit, but they're still not giving up this middle floor, this ground floor. Myth have lost that skeleton key. You're gonna have to rely on the last pads of Ash now. Flexi dealing with Zachariah. It's getting chaotic. Trinity getting tagged up significantly.
Oh, he got away. He didn't. Okay. For a second there, I thought he might have been able to slip, but gets picked up. As a track with the 44 Vendetta is going on, and they're still working on getting close to actually plan. They have to jump through the window. They have to go in from the closet. And is there someone there is the big question. The answer is yes. It is Quick, who steps up, finds two. Suddenly it's only up to Eli. Jumps out of the window as well as the jump out is confirmed. He's running for his life with the turnaround. And the first map goes towards Project Zero.
Utterly chaotic way to end things. Again, Project Zero. An expected result, perhaps, but again for Myth, you want them just to get these attacks a little bit firmer.